Hey guys, how's it going? It's the last day of the convention. It's been a great ride, eh? Sorry? Last night? Oh man, that was a ride. That was a journey. I didn't expect my fellows to act that way. There's a point where someone was like putting their breasts on the mic too. I was like, oh, interesting, okay. I didn't see you as that kind of a girl. Alright, then. Yeah, that was fun. 12:14, got one more minute? Oh heck. I say we get this show started. Wanna? Alright, well, I'm Sarah Wiedenheft. My voice Toru. Zeno from Dragon Ball. Oh gosh, I'm gonna go down this whole list. Alright, so it's a Q&A style. Well, what do I want to know about you guys? Let's see. This is my first time in Lancaster. It's a nice area. Do you all live here? Do you all travel here? How far? Anyone from the south? Pittsburgh? Oh, cool. From all the places. Now we're on the road. Nice. That's the way I like it. Alright, well, we can get started if you like. Any questions? Don't all jump at once. Right there. I really do enjoy comedy. Definitely. I feel like I can let loose with that, and we're just all laughing in there together when it comes to that. But at the same time, the more serious shows are also very rewarding too, because you're not just dealing with comedic timing or just being wacky. You're trying to be someone else, someone who has this wide thing of emotions. I suck at English. You'll come to find that. But yeah, any other questions? You back there? On Keijo? Oh man. I didn't even, when that first came out, I didn't know that was a thing, and I got called in for it. I'm I'm sorry, what is this about? Oh, okay. So that was crazy. And I was a little worried because I didn't know if it was going to be one of those booby shows, So it's not really about the whole plot as it is about showing the breast, but they went crazy with it. Those moves they did. At some point, I was like, okay, that's not even drill breasts, really? How does that not hurt? That was hilarious. And Nona is really funny, but I feel out of everyone, she is not, I feel she really has no business there. Her only attack is deflecting people with her ass. I don't know. I feel maybe it's a gift in itself. She what? She's alive in the party. Yeah, I mean, I do love how she goes into this country accent sometimes. That was fun. I haven't actually gotten to do that with the character yet. That was really good. Anyone else? We also have the dance party. You? That one, I'm not really supposed to be advertise that because the group is still getting popular, But anyways, for Ruby, what's my favorite scene with her? Well, I do like the one where she gets her friend pumped up. Oh gosh, what was her name? Is it Hanamaru? Yeah, that was her. Gosh, I suck at names. But yeah, whenever she was like basically like closing the book and being like, guess it's just not for me. And then Ruby's like, oh, no. I saw you looking at that. I saw it. You want to get in this as bad as I do, and we're doing this together. That part I really loved with her, because she was just like, brought everything out to her. She was so passionate about it, I loved it. Any other questions? Yeah. Actually, like, I've heard about there being a makings of that, but I haven't really gotten much word other than that yet. But that would be cool. I would like it. Oh, really? Huh. Would it be like the same characters, or would it be like a whole set of new ones? That's what I wonder. Yeah, it was a secret one. Oh, cool. I'll have to see. Yeah. Any other questions? Go back there.
What was the first show movie that got you into anime in the first place?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What was the first show movie that got you into anime in the first place?
Well, I do remember way back when Sailor Moon was my first anime. Yeah. To this day, I don't know why, this is like kind of like a scary story, but I found this random VHS tape and it had no label on it. When I put it in, it was a random episode of Sailor Moon in the Japanese dub. And I wonder, how in the world did I come across that? Did they was there a point in time where they were just putting the Japanese dub out with English subs? I don't remember. They didn't even have English sub on it. That was weird. Anyways, what was the question?
A lot of very early anime clubs would basically find Japanese and watch them at conventions or club rooms at colleges and such. I guess one of them might have lost their playing Japanese tape.
Yeah. I don't know, it was weird. It was only like the whole episode, it was just like a part of it or something. I don't know. Anyways. So yeah, that started it. I also watched Dragon Ball too, and then let's see, what else was there? And a bit of Pokemon. Those were my trios starting out when I was like 4 or 5. Any other questions? Yellow.
So I've never seen any of the shows that she worked on, but like, what do you think is like the best like entry level show that I might be able to get into?
That I've worked on?
Yeah.
Let's see. Whew. It's a lot of boobs. You into that?
Well, I mean, I'm not really like looking for shows that are like edgy or fancy.
All right, you're not looking for it, but you happen to come across it.
I mean, if it's a good show.
All right. Well, actually, let's see. There was one I wasn't really in that much, but Blood Blockade Battlefront was a really good one. Did I say that right? God. That one's a really good one. I love it. It's a lot like X-Men in a way. Really. I mean, I think the characters are pretty much ripped off of that. Except for Leo, maybe. What other ones? Like where I'm a main character in? Obviously Dragon Maid. That's a good comedy. Really, check it out. Anyone else? Purple.
What was it like working on X-Men That haircutting is, I know it's not.
Oh yeah, I can never get it. I always like stop and like, okay, which way does it go? What was it like working on that? That was really fun actually. So I got called in for that, and Aaron Aaron Dismuke, I play off of him, it's really funny. Okay, I might as well say it. We're both dating, and so like that's the reason why he chose both of us for that role, because we could play off each other that well. And like, it's funny though, because like I felt like Takagi was basically him. Like I feel like the roles should have been reversed in a way, because like he's always getting the best of me in real life. And like I'm always like, I don't know what to say to him. Like, you suck. But it was really, really fun, because like you never know like what either of us are going to do the next time, because we're both like such a like BS kind of people. You never know what kind of reactions would come out. And we would sit there and we would watch it together, because like sometimes we wouldn't hear the other person when we would come in, and we would just freaking laugh and laugh like so hard, like crying. It was really great. But yeah, it was really fun, but it was also, I also worked with 2 different directors at a time, so it was also a little bit challenging, because one moment I would think I would know Takagi, and the next I didn't really know her at all with the next director. Jeremy Enming was the top director in that, but Anthony Bowling was the sub-director. And I don't know if you would notice it or not, but like there's a few episodes where her voice kind of changes in a way, and her whole demeanor is different. Like sometimes she's more cutesy, and then other times she's like this the whole time. Like basically it's like, oh, okay, cool. You would fall for that, wouldn't you? So that was really weird. I started off being like that, and then when I went to Anthony, I made her a little bit more high energy and cutesy. And then when I came the next day, Jeremy was like, what are you doing? Don't do that. You have to be like way down, no energy, absolutely none of that. And I'm like, I'm trying to like work off that inside of my head every time I went in with someone else. Oh, that was challenging, but I still had a lot of fun with that. Thank you. I did enjoy getting the best out of Aaron, finally, most of the time. Except for that one time, you know. I was really mad he popped out of the booth. Like, that was not okay. Okay, but I scared him the other day. I wish I had it on tape, because that would have been great. I was hiding in his closet inside of his laundry basket, and I pulled like the clothes over me and everything. And like I told him that I was gonna hide, and he thought I was joking. He comes and he starts laughing. He's like, okay, where is she? Where is she? And he comes to the closet, like right where I am. I'm like, no, not the first place. And then he moves away. I'm like, okay, good. And then he goes to his bed and looks underneath his bed, like, that's an obvious place. No one hides underneath the bed. And then he finally comes back, and he reaches in, and I grab. And I have never heard that guy scream like that. But I wish I could have got it on tape. That would have been the best prank. Like, yeah, so 2v1. Anyone else? Becca? When I was younger, I didn't really think about the voice actors, which is kind of weird. But the older I got, I think, I don't know if I looked up to girls so much as I did as I got more excited about the guys. I don't know why. But I guess I think I looked up to Jerry Jewell the most because he was my first director, and he was so patient. He's so easy to work with, and I really admire that kind of an actor who's able to just be like an awesome one also for like Fruits Basket and everything. I didn't know he was that person who voiced all those things, and I found out, I was like, all right, don't have a mini panic attack every time you come in. So like when I first was doing that, like I didn't know anybody. I couldn't put the faces to the voices. I don't know who did that what, but I started to look that up afterwards. I'm like, oh, I should probably know you, right? And then it started getting like a little like, oh, I don't know if I should be here. But I went away after a while. But yeah, I think Jerry Jewell was one of my favorites. I also felt like Sean Schimmel just because like, he was one of my favorite voice actors for Dragon Ball. Like I loved that. But gosh, I can't remember who it was who voiced young Goku, but she did awesome. Like I loved her young Goku voice. Like, she just nailed that little boy. That was my favorite season is Dragon Ball. He's such a sweet baby. I got off topic. Whatever. Anyone else? Ow. Right there.
You mentioned that you're in like a lot of fan servicing on the internet. Was there ever a line, you don't have to tell us what it was, a line that you were almost too embarrassed to say?
There were several times things like that happened, but I think the top two would be Bikini Warriors, and then there's Sugamomo, which is another level. Bikini Warriors, I didn't have much of a problem with until the OVA came. That was a little bit woo! That was nerve-wracking, because, well, it was like full-on like orgasms and stuff, so that was embarrassing to do that in front of Chris George. And you know what, I was mad because he, okay. When we first met, he said, I heard you're really good, and I want to use you for something, but the shows I'm having are like really raunchy shows. I don't want your first show to be that. And what does he call me in for? Bikini Warriors. He's like, hey, can you do a really high voice? I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah. And then, yeah, I was laughing. He's like, you couldn't avoid it. You can't. You were Funimation. But the other one, Sugamomo. Oh gosh, I don't know where to start with those lines. I mean, like, there was like parts all over the place I had to say, you know? Like, yeah, you know what I mean. Like, the audition line is what got me the most. Like, I remember having a little fit in there, because I'm like, okay, like, why am I saying this right now? Really? Why am I saying this? It's like I'm like saying the word uncircumcised. Like, when should that ever come up in an anime audition? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. That should be protocol, right? I was so mad. But it was I still really like the anime, besides from the bad scenes. Like, I feel like those weren't necessary. But anyways, any other questions? Yellow.
So, like, kind of like to go off of that, have you ever had like any interesting experiences talking to like your family or friends about like the work that you do?
About what?
About the work that you do in general.
Have I had any experience telling family and friends about it?
Yeah, like when they ask you like, oh, what's something that like I can watch that you
I try to tell my dad like some of the things I've worked on, and obviously like the only one I can really say that you could watch was, you know, Dragon Ball, because there's not anything too bad in that other than like curse words and stuff. But most of the other things I'm not like entirely like proud of. Like, I wouldn't show them to my grandma, because like she would probably have a heart attack and keel over. Like, like, oh, I won't like that. For my stepsister though, she's like 9 or so. She started watching Dragon Maid, which I was like, yeah, that should be fun. No, I don't know about that actually. Like, there's a lot of parts of it that are okay, but most of it's like, there's a lot of words in there you probably don't need to be repeating. Lines you don't need to be repeating. But there's also this other one called Monster Hunter Stories, and that one was really kid-friendly. And that one I got to do a little kitty, and his name was Floof, and he talked like a baby. Which was also, that was fun. That was like one of my favorite things, because I've always wanted to talk like a baby. And they had written out on the screen too that like they were trying to put the words like made in the baby form. I'm like, look, it's me, Floof. Like the way it, like, and I had to have them put it back into a normal English sentence, because otherwise I couldn't do it on my own. Like I can do it, but I can't have someone else changing the words for me. That was good. Lover's Hill. Anyone else? Right there. Or Kana? You know you can't make me choose. I mean, I love them both. Obviously, I love Toru more because, you know, I feel like we're like the same in a lot of ways. But Kana is freaking adorable, and like I just want to protect her too. And just like hold her and be like, okay, stop with the eating of the stag beetles, but you're sweet. Yeah, she's cute too. I don't know, it's hard. But yeah. What about you?
Yeah,
Toru or Kana?
Yeah, Kana is cute. Good dragon.
She's dragon babe. That's a good answer. Anyone else? Way back where?
All the shows you worked on, which one would you like to be stuck in the most? Like if you were just a character in the show, like yeah, like stuck in that world.
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. Can you say that again?
I'll go up.
Okay, cool. Oh, you said which world? Oh, okay. Trying to think of the most interesting ones. I don't think I would want to be in the Dragon Ball world just because like so much shit goes down. Like it looks beautiful and all, but like I'd like to avoid that. Let's see. Most of the other ones are just like in Japan. I like the stump questions. Those are good. Let's see. Maybe Showman Sample. But at the same time, doesn't mean I would be like in like the rich people's world. Doesn't mean I would be there. Oh man, that's hard. What other ones? I can't think of anything that was like a cool-looking world in it that I've been in, other than Endry. But even in Endry, like, I don't know if I want to be stuck in that world where they're eating frogs every night. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like any of them would do because they're all in Japan anyways, so it's pretty much that. Anyone else? You.
What was it like working on Orange?
On Orange? That was such a good show. I really loved that. She was basically like, I didn't have to do much with my voice for her. She was my natural range for that, which was really cool. Because a lot of times they keep on using me for the higher pitched ones, and I'm like, let me do myself. But I didn't know that it was going to go in that kind of a turn. I didn't really know much about the show at all, honestly. I thought like maybe it's just like one of those slice of life kind of things. Well, slice of life is a little yikes. That was such an emotional roller coaster to go on, because I was following it with her. I didn't go home and watch the episodes. I was going along with her and seeing everything that was happening and unraveling too, and I'm like, wait, what? I think the first thing that got me though was like, why did she not read the letter that was to her future self? Not my character, I can't remember her name. The main character? Do you know? Yeah, it's okay. But she got the letter from her future self, and she reads like part of it, and she's like, that's weird. And then she doesn't read the rest until she like goes out and already is with him and playing with him, and then she goes and she reads it. She's like, oh, well, that stinks. And I'm like, why would you not read the entire thing? If I got a letter from my future self, heck yeah, I would read that in like one go and be like, what is going on? Like, what? Anime. Anyways. Yeah, that was interesting. But it was also like, it was really heartbreaking at the same time, realizing that they would not be able to change what timeline they were in. The people who were sending out the letters, like, that was really sweet, but at the same time, yeah, that hurt. But then I wonder, like, how many other dimensions were suffering the same fate. Like, was there only one that had actually changed? Ooh. Any other questions? Right back there.
How do you get rid of mouth noise?
How do I what?
Get rid of mouth noise.
Mouth
Like
noise?
snorting.
You mean like wet sounds and stuff? A lot of people have different hacks for that. I've heard of biting into a green apple because like the sourness of it kind of like dries out the tongue. Some people use grain grapes too. I'm not sure what it is about the grain stuff, but I use a balance of water and coffee together because like I need to have water, but if I drink too much water, I'll have too much moisture going on and like too much saliva happening. So with the coffee helps me dry it up. Actually, I have it going on right now. For no reason, it just happens. I think there's like a subconscious thing that keeps happening. But yeah, so I use coffee and it helps like keep the balance of that. But sometimes it doesn't help. Sometimes you still have that click going on and the engineer will be like, yeah, moisture for days. Yeah, that's the best advice I have for that. Any other questions? Back there. Oh, you mean like do the Japanese musicals but in English over here? Heck yeah. Dude, that would be fun. Yeah. I would love that. I haven't done musicals in a long time, but like I've been itching for it again. That would be so fun. I'm into it. All right, we gotta start this up. What's the first one? Dragon Ball? Is that a one? Is that a musical there? It should be. Just, it shouldn't be like the movies here, you know? What was that? What was that Dragon Ball movie that they made that was live action? I still don't understand it. The pain all around.
The writer for that actually apologized online for making it.
I don't forgive him. Like, you think apology is gonna save? No. But at least he apologized. That's good to hear. It's kind of sad at the same time. Like, should you apologize for making garbage? Like, you still made it. Oh, any other questions? Over here.
What's the most emotionally taxing role?
The most emotionally taxing role, is it? Let's see. Emotionally taxing, let's see. Maybe, like, taxing as in, like, it drained me after I did it? Or just, like, really, like, stuck with me afterwards? I kind of want to say, well, there are a few different ones, like, I was like the parts that you have to end up like breaking down and crying in usually stick with me, and I don't really forget those times. One of them was Shihori from Grimgar. I did not expect her lover to get killed. That was really oh yeah, spoilers everywhere. But yeah, I was shocked. It's like I don't ever watch the anime. I might like watch like the first episode just to get a feel for it, but otherwise I like to carry on with them, like backpack onto the story. And I was taking so aback. Like I was actually really upset in the booth, like visibly. Like that was like, are you kidding me? That guy was so freaking sweet. And you took him? Okay, yeah, I guess that's cool. He's like the best person on the team too. That was a really good healer. Like, are you kidding? Whatever, guys. But yeah, that was so sad. When they find like their coins and she puts it on his grave, she starts, well, even before that, she started crying when he died, and I was like, I cannot do this. This is, whew, I'm starting to tear up again. Like reliving those scenes, but she just had this beautiful speech at his gravestone, and I still remember the way I felt. That's real, that's real. And another one was, what was her name? It's from Alice in Zorogu. Is it Sana? Yeah, Sana. She cried a lot, like a lot. Sometimes it was mostly like childish, but then there were times where it was like she had a reason to be doing that, and I could totally understand where she was coming from. And she, like most of the time, she felt like she was a burden, and she really didn't know why she was there, but she was there. I could totally understand that too. You know, like we all have like this thought in our minds is like, why are we here? And what is my existence for? And you're just having a trouble with like figuring that out, like where your purpose is in life. And she was struggling with that really hard. Like she didn't know where she was supposed to be, where she was supposed to go. And all she knew is that she was created in this wonderland, and she wasn't even like technically human. And that screwed with her even more. Like knowing that she wasn't really actually that. She had no family to speak of. I was like, that was rough. Now I get it. There's another girl that who has a lot of problems. Her parents, I guess, were abusing her in some way, like neglecting her. And she was upset about that, which was really sad. But then, you know, Sana was like, you know, could be worse, you know? Could like not really have a connection with most people, you know, and not really understand what you're supposed to be doing, and just were created somewhere. She became like super mature as time progressed, and that was really interesting to see. Yeah. Any other questions? Right over here.
What was it like doing Zeno?
What was it like doing Zeno?
Since he's an omnipotent god, but he's like still like a kid.
So I remember getting on the auditions for that, and like not really thinking that I was gonna do it or like have a shot with that, but I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll do it. But so at first I was thinking like maybe it's just, you know, childlike boy, but then I got a thought in my head after like listening to the Japanese and like really looking at him. I was like, I think he needs to have like a little bit of like emptiness, like a creepiness like state there, like the way his like eyes are. Like I want it to be childlike, but I also want there to be like a little bit of a like twisted feeling to him, you know? It's like he could snap at any moment, but like it wouldn't really be much of a change from his childlike state. Like there's something about being happy and a sweet little baby that could murder you in a second, smiling with the same face. So that was really fun. I wanted to do that with Chris Sabat, and we had a blast. Every single time it is really fun to do that little child because he's just so funny. And I remember doing the first scenes with him, and Chris was just like laughing the entire time and also crying. And I hear him say at the end, like, this is my favorite character, like, hands down. He's so creepy. Yeah, I love doing him. He's cool. He's like, I always get so excited whenever they say he's coming up. Like, good. I can creep a lot of people out soon. Oh, there's 2 of them I can creep people out with. Yay. Double the fun. 2? Wait, 2. I need more coffee. Any other questions? Over here.
So you just mentioned Chris Sabat. Do you know the recipients of those pranks yet, or?
I don't think I have yet, actually. Huh. That's good. That's really good. I was also going to say, I did have one bomb that I made for Sean. I don't know if he reacted to it or not. Probably not. I actually thought when the first episode, he was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "Hell yeah, little dude!" And I thought he was bombing me. I didn't think that was the line, and I started like crying and laughing. And Chris was like, "What's so funny?" You know, like, "You're serious?" Okay. But there was this other scene where Zeno, he was talking about how he wants to play with Goku, and then he goes on to wanting to shake his hands, like, you know, because Goku did that with him in the beginning, and he's like, "Let's do the thing that we do with your hands," you know, and he goes like this on top of him with his two little hands, and he's like, "This thing," and Goku's like, "Oh, you mean like the shake the hands?" But instead, when that happened, when Zeno goes like this, and he's smiling at him, I have him go, "You know." He's like, "What thing?" And Zeno goes, "You know." And then it's crazy because as I say that, this music happens immediately after you see Zeno like put his hands on him like this. It's like, it's that music that you know, you think you would hear in those videos you don't need to be looking at in front of your mom. It was crazy. It was weird. I was like, oh my god, that was too much. What was the question again? That was my favorite one. What was it? Does anyone remember though? Or how did I get here? Oh, pranks. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. That was one prank that I did for Sean, at least. Any other questions? Over here.
What is the work from an actor's point of view? What is the worst thing a voice director can do to piss off an actor, basically?
Piss off an actor. I don't know if I really ran into that too much. I mean, I would start getting irritated if I'm doing a line over and over again, or if every time I do a line, I'm having to repeat exactly the way that they're saying. And there's a few directors who are kind of like that, where like you don't really get much of that freedom to, you know, perform the way that you interpret the character, and which directors are there to keep you in line with your character too. Like, we don't know quite as much as the director does about the character, but for the most part, we have a good idea. And they're just there to ping pong us and keep us in like that zone that we need to be staying in, as far as like each of their ranges of emotions and where they're at here and there. But it is not their job to make sure that we are doing it exactly like in a fine line that of what their idea of what the character should be, or like in their head. Like, because there's also this thought process where it's like some directors think that every line should be said like the way it is in their head, otherwise it's not going to be good. And that's a problem that you can run into a lot with not just like directors over at Funimation. Like, there's a ton of them out there, like especially in LA, that is like that. And that can be like really grating. That can be like really exhausting and draining, and it can like really tug at you and make you think like you suck. It's like you suck as an actor. That's why you can't do these lines exactly the way they want you to. That can really get to me after a while. But, you know, I'm the kind of personality who's really good at like just pushing through and like not really letting it get to me too much. I just gotta get used to it for some of them. But overall, most directors are really good, and they are excited to hear like what you might come up with at every other line. You never know how someone will direct or go in, what direction they'll go in, and the director will be like, "Huh, I hadn't thought about that." Then there's other times where they will have you say them in a ton of different ways, just because like they don't really exactly know what the best read is for it. They just want to hear it in different ways. That I don't mind. Then I get it. But other things that can piss you off. I mean, if they started like calling you names, that would be bad. But I haven't had anyone like treat me like that. At least that's a good thing so far. it is a problem though. If like some people, if anything, it's not like when you're in the booth, but if you're outside of it, the way that they can treat you outside of it has a lot. That can also be a little bit annoying. There have been times where there are like instances where someone might, or a doctor might, hug you in a way that you probably shouldn't be hugging. Like, you should probably not be hugging for longer than, a few seconds, or resting your hands on someone's hips for too long. Like, those things can happen. It's not just in the voice acting world, though. It's everywhere. It's in most acting places that you might come across inappropriate behaviors like that. That can irritate me, generally. So those two things. Yeah. Anyone else? Over here? Sailor Guardian? I definitely have to say Sailor Moon was my top favorite. But actually, in the beginning, I hated Sailor Mini Moon, but then after a while, I actually came to like her more. After I kind of realized what she was doing. It's like, at first she was just like a little witch, just coming in there. And I couldn't understand why she was acting the way she was with her dad, who she knew was her dad back then. Like, what are you doing? Stop. This isn't appropriate. Just stop. But I think, aside from them, if I were not to choose the two main characters, it would probably be maybe Sailor Venus. I like her. I actually really love her, the outfit that she has when she's not a Sailor Scout, when she's just like the cosplaying, pretend sailor. I like that one. She's got cool outfits. Anyone else? Over here? Sorry, what was that? So if it's an audition, we'll get a binder with all of the lines on it that we can practice before we get in. But otherwise, if it's a show that we've already been cast in, we won't have time to look at it. We do it immediately. We go in there, they set up the mic and everything, and then they'll have two monitors up there for us to see. And one will have the script, and the other one will have the anime up there with a time code and everything, so we can look at all of that and watch the Japanese character perform each scene little by little with the script. So we don't have time to prepare for it. We're doing it right then, it has to be done. So it's kind of like improv, really. Yeah. Anyone else? Back there.
What's your dream project?
Dream project?
What show would you look at and say, I'd do anything to work on this?
Ones that are already out?
Yeah.
Well, it would probably be Sailor Moon. It's that was my first one, and just still enamored by that. I can't really think of anything else though, because I don't know. It's if I was put into it, then it was meant to be, I'm not gonna get hung up over that. Because I'm happy for everything that I was able to do at this point. Because that was me. Over here.
Do you ever try and steer your fans away from making bootleg copies of things and pirating things other than going and actually buying $6
Trying to have people not watch stuff illegally?
Right.
If I could help that, I would, but there's really nothing I can do. If somebody wants to watch something illegally, they're gonna do it. I have no power over that. Do I think it's right? No, but I know that a ton of teenagers, I was one myself, it was hard to come across a lot of anime, especially at those times at least, that was not released over here, and we couldn't watch them anywhere else, and we also didn't have money. And so I understand where most people are coming from. I was there at one point, but at the same time, I feel if you do possess the ability to watch it and help them, that is imperative that you do. Because if you love anyone's work, I definitely and hands down believe that you should support them in some way. Because if you don't, how can they possibly make more, you know? Like, if you don't support an artist, they can't produce more of that for you. And you wonder, like, where's the second season? Where's the third season? Well, we didn't make any money. We thought everyone hated it, because... so yeah, I totally believe that if you can, you should. But I understand if you have no means to be able to watch it. But I don't think you should. Anyone else? Dance party? We got music? No? Okay. Anyone gonna give me a, like, okay.
Is it hard to say the lines entirely related to a character and to put feelings in those words?
Is it hard to be a character and say the lines? Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, for acting in general, it's really hard. Because you never really know like what the direction is supposed to be, and like especially if you haven't like seen it before, you're just like kind of like just trying to interpret it in some way, like that first like little 5-second thing. You're trying to like get the idea of what the Japanese actor had in mind when they were reading. Like you can hear like the inflections and the way that the tone was, and that kind of like helps us figure out where we need to be with the line in comparison with that. But we still like want our own freedom, like to interpret that scene as well. So yeah, that is really hard. You're probably gonna get feedback to be like, I don't know about that. let's do that again. I don't know about that. I don't know what that was, but let's not. So yeah, that's pretty challenging. Anyone else? Over here? So one, they're just monitors. Like we don't really have much control over them. There's one side that has the anime, and the other side has the script, and it is basically just their computers out there. It's projecting what the director and the engineer are seeing right there. The script is controlled by the director himself, and he has his little Word document and everything. So it's a Word document. He'll go through and he'll scroll through, and they'll highlight everything that's your character, so you can keep in line with that too. So yeah, you can't touch anything, and if you do, like you might accidentally turn the monitor off every single time. Not coming from experience. Those things are a little bit touchy. But yeah, anyone else? Over here. Sorry, can you say that again? It's real hard to hear. Inside the booth? I have lots of bombs I've done before. Those are always fun. I've dropped coffee a few times too. And that was really fun. I was just really glad it happened with Jerry, because like anyone else, they would have been like, God. I mean, like, he still is like that, but, like, it was really funny because, like, his kind of humor it makes you feel better about things. I mean, like, I accidentally, like, spilled some on the side of, like, where the foam was, and I was like, I'm sorry, why am I like this? And he's just like, whatever. It's just $100 foam. It'll be fine. I'm trying to think like anything specifically. Like I don't think other than like those accidental spills and stuff, like I've done anything too bad in there. I think, hopefully. No, I can't think of anything, thankfully. Oh, actually, there was one time, like, it didn't happen to me, but Rico Fajardo got stuck in a booth one time. That was really funny. He was stuck in there for like 2 to 3 hours because the handle fell off of the door. He went to open it and it just goes on the floor. And like, of course, him being a friggin' a comedian starts taking off his shirt and acting like he's been in there for like 10 days, like this caveman who's like this feral being. He's like, and the window's like this on the glass. He freaking win. We got him out of there obviously at some point, but that was pretty funny. That was good. We deserved it. I always say that to people whenever something unfortunate happens. It's like there's so much karma and so many bad things that happen to me and just in my general life. I'm just like, good. Everyone else is getting this too. I'm not alone. Any other questions?
You guys have about 10 minutes, so if you have any burning questions,
Over here. Sorry, what was that? Oh, do they go back and redo things after we've already done them for the simulcast? Okay, yes, we do that. We won't go back and redo every single line, but they do get the new footage that's been revamped for the DVD release from the Japanese, and then when we get those, a lot of times the flaps will change. Like one sentence might have been perfectly in sync with the flaps, but suddenly there's not 3, there's like 5 flaps, and we suddenly have to make a longer sentence. And so for when those times happen, they will bring an actor in and they call it, what was it? Oh gosh, I can't remember the word for some reason. Oh man, it's gone. Well, it's gone. Pickups, there we go. Jeez. We'll have an actor come in for pickups and we'll just go right down the list and redo a bunch of things so that they do fit the flaps. Whatever fits, sits. So yeah, we do fix that afterwards once we get the last footage. Any other questions? Back there.
How difficult do you find to keep a straight face while reciting your lines? You have to find someone that's fun.
How hard is it to keep a straight face when saying what lines?
While reciting so many lines, you seem particularly funny. Do you need multiple takes to get it out without laughing?
It depends on like what kind of a line it is. Like if it's funny, then like I want to like deliver it in some way, you know. That just speaks to my general personality of like trying to make a joke and not laugh beforehand. I'm pretty good about that sometimes. I might like laugh like really hard before I say it, and you know something's about to come. So like kind of like this. But yeah, I don't generally have a hard time doing that. It's when I get bombed, I have generally a really hard time trying to get through the next line. Oh God. Speaking of that, I got a lot of bad ones from Takagi-san. Like a lot of ones that I wish didn't keep going every single time I went back in. Like they put that one line on repeat and I could not get through the next line. I kept crying. It's like, make it stop. It went 10 times already. I want to act more. That was good. Yeah. Anyone else? Over here?
Do multiple shows at the same time. It always stays on separate days. You do more than one show on the same days sometimes.
Most of the time, the talent coordinator will try to put us in in one day with multiple shows. At a time, it depends like what you're doing, whether you're doing a side or whether you're doing a main. You might end up doing it for like 3 hours one day, or you might end up doing it for like 5, and depending on what your schedule is, you might be doing it in like 5+ hours in one day, trying to get it done like the day before you're supposed to leave. Oh no, I forgot the question. Where was I at? What was it? Oh, it was the how many animes we do in one day. Yeah, most of the time I'll be running around to different shows in one day. She's not very fair to me sometimes though. She'll like have me come in for like an hour to do like one thing, and I'll be like done in like less than 30 minutes. And then she'll come in, have me in like 2 days later to do like maybe another hour or 2 or 3. I'm like, what? Put it together! Put it together! But yeah, anyone else? Over here? Yes, it's very hard actually. It depends like what kind of characters you're doing. If like they're like around the same kind of energy, then it's a little okay. But I've run into a lot of problems where I started off doing one kind of a character who was like polite up here, timid, and then the other ones were like super like this or like whatever. And then like the directors will be like, okay, you're up here. I need you to be like down here, all right? It's like they'll have to play back and give you a reference of your character because like you were so out of sync with it at that moment, that's really helpful. Thankfully, they'll give you references. But yeah, I have that problem a lot. It might take you like several minutes to actually get back into the other character. Yeah, back here.
What about that last one? I don't know if you've ever done a show where you're playing more than one of the characters, and something goes like you do. When you are recording for more than one character per show, do you record each character separately, or do you basically have to copy yourself and do some voices every time?
I think that depends. I've done a lot of bit parts before, and I've also had where I would voice the older version of myself, and in those times they don't have you do a separate session. They have you do it in the same session, but what they'll have you do is they'll have you do either the young version first or the old version first, or the older or present, whatever that one is. Yeah, they'll have you do the other version like right after each other, but it's all in the same session. I don't know about someone like Chris Sabat who did Piccolo and Vegeta and all that. I don't know if he would do that in the same session or not. But that's just my experience so far. Anyone else?
We have time for one more, so if you have it, get it out.
All right, over here. Sorry? What did I have for breakfast today? I had waffles or syrup traps, if you want to call them that. We got waffle fans in here? Heck yeah! All right, thank you. Finally, it's been decided. Thank you. I've been trying to do this debate for a long time. You know, the pancakes versus waffles. Syrup traps, always forever. How much time we got? So one more? Oh, we got 2 minutes. Okay, cool. Anyone else? What's over here? My perfect sundae, like an ice cream sundae?
No, like what would you like to do on a Sunday?
Oh, I see. My perfect Sunday. I'm picturing it right now. It would be a bright, beautiful day, and I'm inside playing games. And eating snacks and possibly watching movies at the same time because I have that ability. And maybe shower at some point. Anyone else? Is that your perfect Sundays too?
Yeah.
Yeah? Heck yeah. Anyone? What games do I play? Definitely my favorites are Zelda. I've been playing a lot of computer games too. Sometimes I'll play League of Legends. One of my favorite ones, though, so far I was introduced to was Undertale, and oh my gosh, I've never loved a little thing in my life so much. Asriel, my heart swells. It's such a gift to the world. But the first Zelda games that I was hooked on was Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker. Gosh, I still love the Twilight Princess. I loved it so much that I got the Wii U and I got the HD versions of them. And it was worth every penny. And I also got them on the 3DS. 'Cause I have no control. No self-control. There was this other game too, it was like Pokemon. Oh gosh, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a fan-made one. You guys know what I'm talking about? And Cadence and Sergeant? Maybe? I don't know, but it was on the computer and it was actually really fun. If you guys happen across it, you should try it sometime. It's great. There's some creepy Pokemon in that. All right, thank you guys. That was fun. You guys enjoy the rest of your time. Get home safely at the end of the day. And hopefully in your same place.